was out by 5 feet. It was a very nervous serve.
See, Perez is used to that being an ace in college. They don't play lets.
It's interesting how far back Lloyd is returning, even on the second serve here.
I was thinking the same thing, Craig. You've been at the Open, and you've watched a lot of players this year. You watched a lot of players this year. Yeah.
That was a very nervous forehand that just went right into the bottom of the net. It's 40-30 now. Let's see if he's going to give this whole lead all the way back. Sorry, you were saying?
Well, a lot of players play so far back now. I mean, this isn't back in our days where a lot of guys play back. I mean, he's almost up against the wall there.
There's not a lot of space between that back wall and the court.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The court's a little bit tighter than what what we're used to seeing with all these big courts, in particular.
Reminiscent of the old grandstand at the U.S. Open.
Oof, that was another
That
really shaky forehand. This is kind of, I think, where you see the difference in level.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he just made 2 unforced errors back to back, and he's only played 1 ball, only 1 or 2 balls. Got to spin in that first serve. Got to be more first serves here. Yep.
You know, Perez took that big, he went up 40 love on adrenaline, and you know, he's really tight.
Oh, yeah. No, we got something. Ball came out of his pocket.
So a lot of these new pants actually have that shallow pocket too. It's not uncommon to see those balls fly out.
I know, yeah. All right. It's game. Game Harris. So if you're the captain, what do you say, Craig? You know, hey, just stop missing. Let's make him play more balls. I mean, he's got to play more balls there, especially up 40 love. I mean, that was 4 straight unforced errors.
Are you doing the scoreboard? It's wrong. It's wrong. Harris is one.
As a tennis fan, you just have to love Lloyd's game. Big serve, covers the court well.
He's an awesome player, you know, and he's been working for the last couple of years with Xavier Malisse, who was just a giant killer on tour for a lot of years. And talking with Xavier, he thought that Lloyd's upside is massive.
Yeah, smart play there.
Yeah, he's really smooth. He's really good. He's incredibly athletic. He bangs the serve. It's tough to read. He moves it around the box really well. His athleticism is off the charts.
But more than that, the guy's got cool long hair, and with a name like Lloyd, that's a very brand. He if he can rise, he can become one of these one-name athletes, Lloyd, you know, and he's got the hair.
I asked him how long it took to grow that.
Yeah.
He told me about a year and a half.
Year and a half. Now, Craig, how long would it take you to grow that hair?
A lifetime.
It's too bad we can't get a shot of us here in the booth.
Lloyd is just blowing this kid off the court. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, he's blowing him off the court.
Well, when you give up a break right away, you know, when you give up a break with 4 unforced errors.
Two love. Love 2, excuse me.
I don't like what I see there. Perez, he changes his game. Hey, let's play serve and volley here on the second serve. I mean, he's got to stay in the points. This should be an easier game for him to serve. Once you're down a break, you get a little looser.
That's interesting. You know, when you're watching these guys practice, you know, you often don't see a discernible difference in level. They all, you know, rip balls.
Sure.
And right when this match began, the difference in level is massive. Perez essentially isn't even winning points anymore.
No.
You know, he won those first 3 points, and I don't think he's won a point since, actually.
Yeah, and it's not how you hit it anymore. It's where you hit it. And wherever Perez is hitting it right now, Stevie Wonder would beat him. I mean, if you hit it in the net, Stevie's going to beat you.
Nice serve there, though.
There you go.
It's kind of interesting. Like it's sort of a really bad drop shot, but he was able to handle the down the line backhand. You know, it's interesting. A lot of these guys, particularly these college players, their backhands are much better than their forehands, and you know, it seems like he's a little steadier with his backhand. He's missed some forehands tragically already.
Well, a lot of lefties have some really funky forehands, and I think Rafa he's not lefty. I mean, apparently he's righty, isn't he? So he's hitting a different shot, but that's just too short. You got to clear the net there.
His forehand is missing over and over.
Yeah. It's like the Great Wall of China to him right now. He's got to get it over that thing. Stay in the point. 6, 7, 8 hits.
Daryl, as a coach, when you see a player missing a specific shot like that, what do you tell them on changeover?
What you're going to tell them is, hey, I'm going to take your scholarship away from you, man. That's what you're telling him. Hey,
He just missed in the net again.
Yeah. You got to go from being a Davis Cup head captain to a college coach and say, hey, your scholarship money's being cut. You're transferring to Daniel Boone Community College now.
Harris gets another break there.
And the
3
difference,
love.
the college, you can coach at any time. You can coach not during the point, but in between the points. Davis Cup captain can really only coach on these crossovers.
Is that right? I thought that the Davis Cup captains can coach during, basically in between points. It's just they don't really stand up and walk to the player.
Yeah, it's not as pronounced as the college, and you don't see them. I mean, the college coach is yelling, "Here we go! Come on, first serve, get the first serve. Let's stay in the point, cross courts. Let's go deep into the count. Stay with them, stay with them." In fact, you'll see a college coach pray sometimes, whatever it takes to do that. But there's a lot more emotion into it. This seems to be a lot more conservative comparatively.
Yeah, and with regards to coaches, the Venezuela coach Maurice Rua got to 81 in the world. I think he played Davis Cup for Venezuela for a lot of years. He played with Nicolas Pereira, who is really arguably the best player there ever was from Venezuela. They had some big ties together. He played 34 singles matches. I think he broke even. We got to watch him. He actually, I think, listed himself as a player coach for this.
Yeah, and he's 50. And he's probably sitting there thinking, maybe I should have put myself in. Yeah.
Perez just rolled his eyes at that forehand. He's starting to really...
But he can't think that Lloyd. He's still got to play tennis. He can't just give it to him with 3 and 4 unforced errors a game.
It's interesting. Sometimes I always wonder if just a player's athleticism can can kind of force these errors. Like, we call them unforced errors, but the opponent's athleticism is such that a lesser player is overcompensating.
Yeah, I feel you. Like if in a neutral rally, Harris's neutral rally is greater than Perez's neutral rally. So, yeah, and they can force and unforced.
Yeah, I mean, Harris isn't even losing points anymore. This is a absolute pistol whipping.
But I would like, if you guys could cover me, I would like to go out there and take Perez. I would like to coach him up right now. I'd like to take people when they're at the bottom right now, but he's got to spin in first serves, and some sustainability in the rallies. The pressure's off for Perez, you would say right now, right?
Yeah, I'd say at this point you just start going for it.
Yeah, but still.
Happy Gilmore style.
Happy Gilmore. But if he keeps the ball in play, again, there's another ball in the net. If he keeps the ball in play, maybe Lloyd gets bored. Maybe. By the way, they're selling great paninis right outside. I had one right before this. Great paninis.
Yeah, the Forest Hills food scene is electric.
The prosciutto ham. No, come on. The Nebraska coach might be cutting a scholarship now just watching this, even though Lloyd's
There's got to be something bigger mentally going on with a player who, in the past year, collegiately went 1-12 in singles and 3-9 in doubles, playing mostly at the number 2 spot.
Yeah, I mean, and Nebraska's not, they're not favored to win the Big Ten, so that's now at the bottom. But you look at this guy. This guy's big. He hits a heavy ball. Something's got to click mentally there. I mean, he's a good athlete. He's a big, strong guy.
Was a 5-star recruit. You would have wanted him.
Yeah. I could have made him a 4-star when I was done with him. But you can still win.
Another something.
We just had an overturn. We have of course we have the line judges on court. None of this Hawkeye Live.
I like the line judges.
It's just good for the sport. Mm-hmm. It adds an element of drama.
I fully disagree. But that was actually interesting that these guys just played a good point. Lloyd missed a forehand, or seemingly missed a forehand. I guess it must have been in.
The line calls always favor the best player, don't they?
Always seems that way.
Yeah, they always get the breaks.
Craig, you don't think it's good for the sport, having line judges?
No, I don't miss them at all during the U.S. Open. Not 1 second of it. And the challenges take too long, and the whole thing is just fine without them.
Another easy hold from Harris.
Now, without the
love.
officials.
But really, the only reason that we didn't see him this year was because, when Novak decked the line judge in the throat, between that and COVID, the USTA just was able to pull the plug on line judges, and that's a wrap. You'll never see them ever again. That's over.
Now, you're at the Open, Craig. So when they don't have the officials, do they funnel that extra food into, media rooms and other places?
Unclear.
Yeah.
They actually, from a source I have with the ball kids, there just wasn't access to it.
Oh, there wasn't?
The existing line judges that they kept around to bring the balls and do the bathroom escorts just had more food for themselves. I'm not sure what the USTA's food budget was, but it just went to fewer people, it seems.
Well, I had the privilege of coaching a player in 2004 that made the second round, lost to Justine Henning, and they got a lot of food in that place. I mean, they treated the coaches and the players, and it's pretty special to be there. I got to find a way to get back in.
Well, it's Five Love. The coaches for both teams, Christo von Rensburg. He's obviously has had a storied career. Was a South African stalwart for a lot of years. He's got to be thinking that he must be thinking ahead to the second match already. It will be interesting in the event that Venezuela wins the second match. That match is going to be a tighter match, or at least on paper it should be a tighter match. Will they play Lloyd Harris in doubles tomorrow? Will Lloyd come off the line and play doubles first match out tomorrow to try to, kind of close the show?
And will Venezuela in the singles, will they take out Perez here and put in Dimitri Badra, who has a UTR that's one level higher? And that guy plays for East Tennessee State, and he grinds. This guy grinds. So you can see some lineup changes, possibly.
Harris serving for the set here.
Yeah, no.
And a bad miss.
Well, yeah, but at least he missed it long. It didn't,
Better than in the net. That's
Yeah,
what Agassi's father always said, right?
Yeah, I mean, miss it long. How many minutes was that set?
About 25.
How did he get 25? Are you counting the national anthems?
I was not counting the anthems, but wow.
Yeah.
After those 3 points, just seems like Lloyd just found a different level. Settled in at least.
I think that his level is his level, and I
Yeah.
think you just saw the big question that at least I had at the beginning. It's like, can a Division I college player hold serve versus a world number 30? And the answer is a resounding no.
Now, that's this college player. Now, if you're taking a top 20 college player, I mean, the top 20 college players are ranked in the top 500 and 400 people playing for UVAs and Baylors. So yeah, I think some college players could hang with Lloyd, but it's one thing to play with the man and stay with him, and it's another thing to be the man and be getting to the quarters of slams and beating Rafa and DC.
I think Perez only won like maybe 6 or 7 points that set.
Yeah,
and he won the first 3, and then
yeah,
that was a absolute blowout.
Yeah, Perez hasn't been successful at the college level. And for him to be thrown into this mix is
baptism by fire. You could.
I'm rooting for this guy to hold serve here. There you go. Make him beat you. Make him beat you. Don't get me wrong. I think Lloyd can beat him. He can earn points.
Oh.
It's interesting too how an elite athlete, an elite player kind of it almost makes you, it almost seems like Brandon's forgetting how to play tennis. He's sort of feet are caught in quicksand.
You're right.
He's kind of frozen. He's serving and volleying on second serves.
He was in position there.
Burying backhand volleys into the net. It's like he's overcompensating for.
But he looks good. I mean, he looks very athletic, very strong, volleying the ball in the net, but he's. I like to see him serve more lefty, and more first serves with some slice, taking the guy wide. Plus, when you get your first serve in, it reduces the opportunity of you missing the second serve.
Statistically speaking, that would make sense.
I'm just saying. Hard to double when you get the first one in. I mean, give me a McEnroe serve here. A little lefty down the tee, slice. It's too flat.
There you go. Coaxing the unforced error there.
So, Noah, do you know what year Perez is? Yes, he's 21.
He's
right?
a junior.
He's a junior. I don't know if he goes to a lot of football games, you think?
I mean, the Big Ten is always an interesting conference, huh?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's just.
It's a DADS.
I remember talking to a guy named Brandon Rios who fought Manny Pacquiao, and he said that he had a perfect training camp and he was ready to go, and then all of a sudden he was looking across the ring at Manny Pacquiao and he just froze. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how this feels to me. That
Yeah.
this
Exactly.
kid has just completely, he's frozen.
What as they say in boxing, you can lose the fight walking to the ring. This is kind of overwhelming. I mean, I was moved seeing the national anthem on both sides. Our view, we're sitting here watching a stage, and behind it, we see the historic West Side Tennis Club here. So, and then, of course, you're seeing the U.S. Open quarterfinalists on the other side, too. So, yeah, the walk to the ring can be rough.
Lloyd doesn't even look like he's broken a sweat.
There's Lloyd's, what third or fourth unforced error of the afternoon.
2 on 2 points.
Beautiful. That's a better point. I mean, he neutralized Harris, blocked it back, stayed in the point. Didn't make an unforced error, but there was some pressure there from Harris. But that's a better point.
At this point, if you're Brandon, you're looking for the moral victories, right?
Man, you're looking for a game. You're looking for a game point. How can you get game point here?
It was very interesting talking to Lloyd this week about the expectations, being the new top South African player for the past year. And he said he really doesn't feel the pressure of it. I mean, of course, he said he loves representing his country, loves playing for the South African flag, but really didn't feel any pressure whatsoever in that number one spot.
What do you think his biggest highlight was this year? Is it the isolated win over Rafa in the second round of DC?
I mean, that's a moment.
Or is it the quarterfinals? Quarterfinals with the U.S. Open probably pays more.
I mean, that Rafa win is the story you tell your grandkids.
Well, no one was more upset than the tournament director of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, who paid Rafa to get in.
Yeah, give him a wild card, then pay him. And
I would say for Lloyd, it was really that statement run in Dubai. He announced his arrival. I mean, for the past 3 years, he's kicking around between 120 and 80 in the world. And he makes that run in Dubai, defeats Team, defeats Nishikori, Shapovalov.
And what's his ranking? Do you have his most recent ranking? Lloyd Harris?
Well, he's number 31 in the world right now.
So it's 31. So just think he's top 50. Craig, how many guys can be in the top 50? Like the top 120 guys can rotate into the top 50, you think?
You know,
I mean, it's more than like some of those announcers will say, "Hey, this guy should be in the top 10. This guy should be in the top 20." But then they name 30 people that should be in the top 20. And the last time I counted, only 20 people can be in the top 20. But this being top 50 in the world is a fine line, and there's more than 50 guys that can be in the top 50. Is it 75? Is it 100? 125? You know, I bet it's at least twice as many.
I talk to a lot of people about things like that, and quite often they chalk it up to miles per hour on the serve.
Mm-hmm.
How players are playing the big points big, and even like we saw like Novak in the final of the U.S. Open, he was serving 10 miles per hour less than he was in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that these guys that are serving 130 all have a shot. Generally speaking, and I think that obviously, if a guy is the top 100 in the world, they say that in men's tennis that anyone in the top 100 can beat anyone on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think how you stay healthy, how you string those wins together is, sort of what separates the players that can make the top 50, the players who can make the top 20, the players who can make the top 10. But talking to Xavier Malisse, who's been there. He thinks that Lloyd's be inside the top 20 by the end of the year, and
Mm-hmm.
Indian Wells is just 2 weeks away.
Isn't that amazing?
If he has a good result there, he's there. And he's obviously can beat anybody in the world. Rafa, Fed, and I don't think Djokovic is gonna play. So you got this back end of the year, these draws are going to be wide open. Team isn't playing.
Yeah.
So,
these young guys can get some points. There's some points out there.
Well, it's going to be Tsitsipas. It's going to be Zverev.
Yeah.
It's going to be guys like Lloyd Harris, Riley Opelka. There's like a group of players, Carlos Alcaraz. These guys are all gunning now, and I think he's right there, and he looks like really, really good and really, really healthy to me. So I think that we're kind of, I said on my social media, I said, this essentially is going to be the Lloyd Harris show.
Right.
And I think we're seeing that.
And you see in these countries when a player pops, like when Gustavo Kuerten popped. Tennis grew in Brazil. Certainly Rafa, Spain.
Wow, he is so good.
So following along those lines, when Medvedev beats Novak to win the U.S. Open, it's kind of a win for the young guys. They get a little more confident. They think they can now.
It's a good point. And really, it trickles down the tour.
Right.
You look at a guy like Aslan Karatsev outside the top 100 before this year. A guy like Lloyd Harris. You string together a couple wins.
Yeah.
And you start believing anything is possible.
I think we're about 10 minutes from this match being a wrap.
So you don't think anything's possible in this match? You're not feeling it?
This kid, I don't know what you even really take away from this. He's not winning points.
Well, he's moping around out here. He's got to stay out there. He's got to get in the points. I can't say this enough. He's got to get in the points.
Yeah, I think
let the other guy beat you.
That feels moot. It's just like a wrap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another love hold for Harris.
Warm up the bus.
My prediction was 1-1. So I'm a little under here. But according to UTR, this was projected. And also when you brought up his college record, this guy needs to get some wins. He needs to actually, after this, probably this evening, play the three of us here, one at a time to get some wins.
Oof.
Yeah,
Hey, this is nowhere near the level of the club tennis team at Syracuse University, huh?
This guy needs a win over someone who played on the club team at Syracuse. And
You just can't catch a break.
hey, so no, with Syracuse, did y'all have some good gear? Did you have good gear?
Oh, we had the best
You had
toys
good
out
gear.
there. They called it a Sportscaster University for a reason.
Really?
And it was funny for me because going into the real world, some of the equipment that I was starting on wasn't even as nice as the stuff that I was using at college.
Well, look, more importantly, did you get to meet Jim Boeheim? Is that part of the deal when you pay that kind of tuition? Did you get to see Coach Boeheim?
Oh, yes. And you even get to get yelled at him in a press
Really?
conference.
Did you not ask the right question?
It's not a matter of the right question. Here's your longest point of the match
That's a
right
long
there.
point.
A backhand just kind of sprayed wide. He's just under so much pressure because of Lloyd's athleticism. He's just, he's kind of, Perez seems almost like afraid to just hit a rally, just kind of stay in the rally.
And of course, just like you saw right there, Lloyd has the ability to hit winners anywhere on the court.
Still, Perez, as far as the stroke, not the shot, but the stroke, it's a good stroke. It's a heavy ball. It can hit with pace. Now, the shot, where it's going, or the tactics of it is, I like to see him play more neutral.
Well, here we go. Lloyd Harris to serve for the match to take a 1-0 lead for South Africa in this Davis Cup tie. He has been nothing short of, a top player in the world. I mean, you can't really, these guys are, it's interesting too, I think probably in yesteryear you might have heard some stories about a guy who was a big favorite going out for beers and steaks the night before. These guys are taking this as serious as anything there is in the world. This is no joke. He is just blowing this kid off the court, making a big statement. The heaviness of his ground strokes is really something special too. It's funny, we always talk about, the top 10 players, the top 5 guys. When you have a guy 30 on his way up in front of you like this, it really is a massive. The skill set is massive, isn't it?
Perez is going to go talk to his captain and say, hey, he was who we thought he was. That's. But it'll be interesting to see if Perez stays in the lineup for day 2.
I think there's probably no value in that.
No, I think it'd hurt him. It would hurt him to play.
Well, I think you just try to work your other guys in so they have the experience of saying that they got a chip. You get a chip. You get your Davis Cup. You play a Davis Cup. By the way, the prestige of that is incredible. To say you're a Davis Cupper for your country, that carries a lot of weight.
Yes.
In tennis. These are the best players in their country, and it's kind of a neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
Perez not letting him take the match at love.
Lloyd Harris not giving this kid a game either.
No. Lloyd's not playing customer tennis today.
Ball kids almost crashed into each other there.
No.
40-30. This is what you want to see out of Brandon Perez.
Yes. About 40 minutes ago.
And Harris closes the deal with the ace.
That was clean. That was clean.
Easy win for Lloyd.
So, Craig, the second match is going to look like it's going to be a little bit better matchup here.
Yeah, but I think watching Lloyd fist pound with his team, and you see these guys really trying to bring the heat. Is kind of interesting. Davis Cup now is it's truncated, right? It's no longer the event it once was in terms of its panache and sort of the gravitas of it is a little bit less because the Labor Cup kind of came in and Fed and Rafa and at some juncture guys like Sampras and stuff stopped really playing Davis Cup to think more about their careers, and it became it. But when you see a guy like Lloyd Harris, bring in the heat and come in correct to support his team, support his country, it's kind of a neat thing.
I think Davis Cup is reinventing itself. Yeah, with the end of the year, competition. There was discussion they were going to do it more like Ryder Cup, to go every 2 years, but to have all the final teams gather in one location, it'll take some while to catch on, and but they definitely have a lot of money behind it. There's a good sponsor, so there's people that believe in it. But it's neat to see that camaraderie at the end there when you see Lloyd Harris, and then you got these Davis Cup veterans here. You got Raven, who's the double specialist, and he's been around for. I mean, he's 39 years old. He's in Tom Brady mode. I mean, these guys. Raven will probably play Davis Cup until he's 50.
Raven Klaassen, the long-time stalwart for it.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk for 20 minutes. Next match comes on at 1:10, so we'll see everybody back shortly.
Lower music too. Lloyd, congratulations. A double bagel win to kick off this Davis Cup. There's obviously a lot that you have to be pleased with today. What are you most proud of with your game in this?
It's really solid, throughout the match. Once I put every return in play, and obviously my service games, was pretty quick and productive. So, yeah, all in all, I think it was a really productive performance, and I'm really happy to put 1-0 on the board for South Africa.
Certainly starts South Africa off with an emphatic 1-0 commanding lead. Now about this match, this is the first Davis Cup tie played in Forest Hills since 1959, and you had the first match here in 2021. How special is that for you to be a part of this?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, we've said before, this is a venue with so much tradition, and what an unbelievable place to play. And I'm just happy to start us off, and to be the first one out here. It's my pleasure.
Congratulations, Lloyd. A great win, and best of luck to you and South Africa moving forward.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
tennis coming your way in 20 minutes. Henning is playing for South Africa, taking on Ricardo Rodriguez from Venezuela. That's coming to you in just a few minutes. Stick around. Putting on an event like this isn't easy. We'd just like to take a few moments to thank some of our sponsors. Consult, Swear, for housing all of our players, yes. They were instrumental, helping us put this on and keeping everybody safe and in New York. Thank you for contacting. Great result. Squad Davis coming to you in just a few minutes. Who's ready for this action? We welcome from Venezuela, Ricardo Rodriguez Peace. And from South Africa, Henning.
We're back with our second match here today of the Davis Cup. Craig Shapiro and Daryl Cummings. We have a good one here today. This one might be a bit tighter than our first one. Philip Henning, college player from Georgia, representing South Africa, and he'll face off against Ricardo Rodriguez Pace, the most decorated Davis Cup player in Venezuelan history.
Yeah, and Ricardo Rodriguez got a very interesting story. He came up at this one club in Caracas called the Altamira Club that I learned that's where the majority of all the Venezuelan Davis Cuppers played at. And he currently lives in Florida. He lives in Miami. He spent 10 years in Spain training. He didn't go to college. He's been just kind of grinding on the pro circuit in the challengers and the futures and lower tiered events for a lot of years. He is really excited about his career at the moment. He's working with a coach that Daryl may know, a gentleman named Cesar Castaneda, who is a Peruvian gentleman. He's been a coach with the Canadian and the Japanese federations. So he's worked with guys like Nishikori and Ogier Aliasimi, Raonic, a lot of players. And Ricardo has talked about how he feels like he's improved with Castaneda in his corner.
And of course, across the net, Philip Henning, the second-ranked player at Georgia and a top 20 player in the college level. Daryl, what do you see out of him?
Well, Philip represents everything in college tennis. I mean, when he plays University of Georgia, he plays for a very proven coach in Manny Diaz. And in the Southeast Conference, every dual match is a Super Bowl there. So if you're successful there, many college players have grown on. Isner and so forth have grown to be very successful coming out of Georgia in the Southeast Conference. And if you ever have a chance to go to a home match in Georgia in the Southeast Conference, they get over 5,000 people, and those people start barking like dogs. So there's nothing that's going to rattle this guy right here.
I talked to Manny Coach Diaz this morning, and he really talked a lot about Henning's ability. Really his kind of turns matches into kind of physical affairs. He loves to hit the backhand down the line, which, you know, that shot in women's tennis is really, I think, the most important shot. But in men's tennis, usually the men are trying to get around their backhands to rip the forehand. But he seems to like to kind of open up the court with the backhand. So I think maybe if he's playing well, he's going to be kind of looking to, you know, smash that ball up the line.
He comes into this match red hot. He won 7 of his last 9 matches at the collegiate level. And he was looking to build on that success this year as Georgia's number 2. Coming into the season ranked number 19 in the ITA. What is he going to have to do to build on that?
Well, I think one of the things that Craig mentioned on you just can't hit it down the line in the men's game at the higher level. You got to have some shots prior to that open up the court for that. You got to hit some strong cross court shots, short, similar to his Rafa. So you got to open up the court because at the higher level, the proven ATP level, that shot down the line, these guys can just cover that. So unless you're opening up to making it more effective and you have some impact shots prior to that, it's not going to be as effective.
1 minute.
But this is a really cool matchup here. The proven Davis Cup guy, the proven ATP guy against the college guy, the very successful college guy.
And a successful college guy who's played 2 Davis Cup matches before, or 2 Davis Cup ties before for South Africa in 2018 and 2019. Philip Henning is a guy we could see a lot more of for South Africa.
Yes, nice young team there with Harris and Henning.
Yeah, I mean, in spite of the glaring omission of Kevin Anderson, who you know, seems to have some static with his federation. You know, with Kevin Anderson and Lloyd Harris in the 1-2 spot, I mean, that's a potential contender for the, you know, for the chip, for the trophy. And without them, you know, they're playing in the second division, right? So
That's right.
it's a big drop. You know, they even have Raven Klaassen on. You know, Raven Klaassen, you know, again, another proven, you know, title holder in doubles on the ATP Tour. So, I mean, without Kevin Anderson, they're, you know, they're.
Now, what's keeping Kevin from playing? Do you know anything that we can talk about? Just
Unclear. Probably a question for him.
Yeah, I coached a former player, Isaac van der Merwe, in college, and he played Davis Cup for South Africa. And the club we own in Virginia Beach, he brought Raven there. And first of all, these guys are first class. I mean, great sportsmen, first class people. And I remember, I think he said Anderson didn't like the uniforms one year. They were a little too thick. Wasn't dry fit quality, but South Africa's had a great history. I mean, they did win Davis Cup before, right? I mean, they won it in the 70s. I know there was a default involved, but a win's a win. You get a trophy.
Ricardo Rodriguez to serve.
First set, Ricardo Rodriguez, representing Venezuela, to serve. Ready? Play.
It's already a much more level playing field than the previous match. You know, that was a solid point.
Daryl, you look at a guy like Rodriguez who's been around the block. What does he have to do to win this match?
I think he's just got to play real solid tennis, keep the unforced errors and his winners in check. So if the guy's plus 10 at the end of the set with some winners and minus 10, I think he has a lot of experience here. So he can play through some bad situations probably a little bit more than the college guy. So I think as long as he keeps those unforced errors and those winners in check and balanced, that'll be a good opportunity for him.
First serve.
Sensational shot making there from Henning.
30.
That seemed like Henning kind of wrong-footed Rodriguez. When you hit that forehand cross court, kind of found a nice angle. Henning hits with a lot of margin over the net. It seems like both guys kind of do.
A lot of topspin on those shots for sure.
Rodriguez really hits that kicker with some spice on that, huh?
Yeah, he hits it with some spice. However, it kind of leans to being a bucket serve. I mean, he's putting it more in the middle of the court. As you see, the higher level players, they hit second serves that are more maneuvering, closer to the lines, and moves the person. It's a great kick. I'd like to see it a little bit deeper in the box for him than that bucket serve right in the middle.
Well, that's an improvement. Yeah. Maurice Rue has got to be happy that his player, you know, played well, got the hold. You know, the previous match, it was downhill skiing really quickly, and that's never a good feeling. So to get on the board has got to be just a nice feeling for the coach, the captain rather, right?
Yeah, you can't say coach. Captain by captain.
You have to think that for Venezuela, this is about as crucial of a match that we're going to see this tie.
Yes.
Philip Henning, representing South Africa.
You know, it's interesting. Ricardo said, you know, he said, you know, crazy things can happen in Davis Cup, so it's going to be interesting to see how everyone handles the pressure here. When you're playing with your country, when you're wearing the country's flag, that things can change.
Yeah, definitely a different feeling than a tournament going from the round of 16 to the quarters. One match.
Big forehand. I guess Lloyd must be Lloyd Harris must be doing his cool down. imagine we'll see him out here shortly to support his teammate.
Don't think he needs much of a cool down after that.
Yeah. It's interesting when you watch that point. Serves a little short, and then the ball gets hit deeper and deeper. So it's like a little bit of chess. You know that the player who hits that serve a little bit short gets punished a little bit more, and then the court opens it up, and it's impacted by that short serve in the beginning.
You just have to appreciate the depth and the pace on that ball.
So funny here in New York, you know, you hear the subway going by in the background. Kind of good reminder that we're in Queens.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, over the years, countless players have actually complained about that.
Yeah.
At the West Side Tennis Club, the U.S. Nationals, which were played on the field courts right next to those train tracks. Now you look at today's U.S. Open players who have the flight paths going into and out of LaGuardia diverted for them during the tournament.
Good hold for Henning.
Nice.
Both of these guys really showing that they're not going to give anything up easily.
Christo von Rensburg, the captain of South Africa, said that, you know, he picked his player, he picked the second singles this week, that they were playing challenge matches throughout the week. So, you know, he essentially said that Phil was, you know, earned his spot, that it wasn't just he wasn't just commissioned here.
Yeah, the Monsi, the other player in contention, they both have similar UTRs, and they both are college players.
That's pretty good tennis from both guys.
40-15.
Kind of feel like that sort of, you know, mid-set tension a little early here. Kind of, you know, these guys are fighting tooth and nail for each and every point.
Venezuela.
Big serve from
Not
Rodriguez.
that one.
Yeah.
Big serve. Ace from Rodriguez to take the game 2-1.
Oh, here comes Lloyd. You were right, you guys. He didn't need much of a cool down. He's already out in his uniform.
How
It's a
tall?
nice effort.
How tall is he? What do you think?
About 6'4", but the hair might give him an extra inch.
6'4". Yeah.
It was interesting to hear him say in that post-match
He said, of course, it was a tightly fought match. I mean, he felt like he had to play his best tennis, but at the same time, when I asked him how tired he was, he said it was really more the sun than the tennis that was getting to him.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite sunny during his match. Now there's like some big pillowy clouds up there that are kind of making the court really nice. The temperature's really, really nice right now. These guys are going to settle in, I think, for a pretty. This might be a dogfight. Let's see what happens. But
Yeah, they're matched up. They're their level rankings, ratings, and everything. And this is a toss-up.
that's a big inside-in forehand from Rodriguez. That's tough to deal with.
Yeah, Rodriguez on every shot, he was gaining ground, pushing him back. A little bit more depth, and Philip hitting it a little shorter.
Good serve by Henning.
15 all.
Rodriguez does not like the call whatsoever, and there's no replay. This is very old school. I haven't seen this in a long time. There's line judges and there's no replay.
In the true spirit of Forest Hills.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's kind of interesting.
That call.
30 all.
I think he just didn't like his serve. I don't think he was.
I think that was a
call
created
issue.
double because Rodriguez has been putting pressure on that second serve and kind of creeps up to you, and sometimes it generates a long double. Wow, Rodriguez is really taking it early, dictating there, pushing him around.
It seems like Rodriguez is better. It seems like he's, he hits the ball harder, or he's at least he's currently hitting the ball a lot harder and kind of imposing his will on Henning. Big break point here. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Really good point.
It appears whichever player can hit from the inside, in the blue underneath their feet, wins the point. If you can strike the ball from standing inside the court in the blue, good things happen.
Bit of chip and charge from Henning, but it doesn't pan out.
Well, he had no choice. He needed to approach there. That ball was short in the court, but Rodriguez playing really, really well right now. He feels like he's kind of got the momentum. He's got a little bit of a crowd. That serve was way, way out. Coach, that's a big difference between like some of the top players and you know the different levels, the way they kind of overhit on big points, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way Rodriguez took basically framed that ball into the stands, sort of. Sometimes is indicative of the level, right? Where
That's right.
The better players don't overhit on big points.
That was a bad one there.
And they don't double fault on deuce.
What do you guys think of Henning's tempo? It seems like he's getting right to the line and just getting right into it.
I think it feels like he's rushing, and it feels like he's tense, and he's feeling the heat, and he's got Lloyd Harris, he just kind of showed up as watching him, and he could be in the middle of a little bit of a nervous moment.
Especially against an experienced Davis Cup player like Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is getting a lot of returns back. He's not really missing.
Yep. Yeah.
Good point.
Henning got his feet in the blue early in the point. Got to get in the court. You think you would ever ask, if you get a little too nervous, that you would ask your marquee player Harris to maybe go get a couple of coconut waters or something like that?
Tell him to leave the court.
It's hard to play with you here.
Hey, Lloyd Harris is like sitting directly behind an umbrella. I mean, he's got a completely obstructed view. I don't know why anybody would do that to themselves.
Yeah.
It's like the worst. You couldn't be sitting in the worst place. Henning might be fighting his way out of this. That's a hard way to get to 2-all.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
What a point to
tennis.
seal
You
it
like
there.
Henning went in Rocky
Great ball.
Balboa mode there for about 4 or 5 balls. He took some punches. He took some punches there.
Big tennis. South Africans up on their feet, supporting their player.
But sometimes this works against you. When you have break point and you don't convert, now it's 2-all. And sometimes that momentum works against you. You've been better off not having the opportunity. So we can see if Henning can convert this into a break.
You have to think a lot of energy expended there from both guys. Coach, what did you tell your players who reacted after a point, either positive or negative?
Well, in the college tennis, you can coach at any time, as long as it's not, during the point, obviously. So sometimes you wouldn't tell them anything. You would just communicate in a way that would generate the right emotion. So sometimes it could be alternative behavior. Hey, how are your shoes? Are they okay? And they're looking at the shoes, and shoes are fine. And, you're just trying to avert their sort of attention. Because if you tell them, hey, don't hold your head down, usually they hold their head down, So,
What about strategy-wise? Is there things you kind of talk to him about?
Sure. I mean, we just use common language of like tactics, defense, neutral, maneuver, attack, conclude. And often, hey, here we go, first serve in, let's stay neutral. See if the guy will come at you and maybe you can produce an unforced error. Of course, serving and volleying, that's an attack play.
Wow.
In the college tennis, it was kind of cool because sometimes you get to the point you didn't want the player to lose the match. So, hey, let the coach lose the match for you, because sometimes we sit there and afterwards we say, you could have done this, you could have done that. But in the college thing, you can make it happen right then. And I made a few players lose some matches, and they've become very good in top golf and some other things. I'm sure it scarred them for life, but we also, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? We had some players do some good things too.
Kind of like what you were talking about, when that he took that short,
Yeah.
short forehand and just buried it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like Henning's not having an easy time handling Rodriguez's pace when Rodriguez is kind of sort of dictating the action. But you know, if you're not playing the big points big, it doesn't really matter, right? Because it's on serve at 2-all, game point.
See, I love that return. Henning returned it deep to the middle. Novak does a beautiful job of this. He returns deep to the middle of the court, deep, and it neutralizes the point. Now we can play. Now the serve's been neutralized. That previous point, he returned a little bit past the service line. There we go.
Henning really likes that slice down the line.
Yeah, neutralize the point. Now break point. This is your best. This is your best chance to win a point on return of serve, because usually the server serves a little bit more conservatively here and get you a chance to get into the point. It's hard to go for a big serve here, because if you got to put in the second serve. Yeah, this is. So as a college, hey, let's neutralize, start it off, and see what he's got.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could see his eyes light up.
That point was won when he missed the first serve. That second serve, that's the impact of using. It's kind of like chess. It's the impact of the couple of shots before that creates the opening. You certainly don't want to bring out your queen too early. That could lead to some significant unforced errors.
Christo von Rensburg up on his up out of his chair, talking to his player very significantly. Lot of hand movements. I have no idea what he could be saying to him. He just gave him an elbow pound and is talking to him about maybe working the point. He's he's very excited. I think he's happy with that break. He wants to close the show right now.
And part of his coping skill was to re-wrap his hair bun right there to get everything set. So Rodriguez had that break. He had the break point at 1-2.
He had 3 break points.
Turned into a tug of war game. And now you're down 3-2, and you think you could be up the break.
Yeah, and it seemed to me like he had been playing better tennis. But,
It's amazing how quickly that momentum can shift.
once he blew those break points, gave back that, Henning held, it did shift quick. He played a lousy game at 2-all. He's pressing a little bit too. That forehand was halfway down the net.
Yeah, that's just designed to be a neutral forehand. You gotta clear that net.
And that is a quick 30 love there. 2 good serves from Henning.
45.
Unforced error. This is what the big boys do well. They just follow the script here. Good first serve.
Game. South Africa.
And Henning consolidates the break, 4-2.
That was a quick consolidation.
Yeah, he held it love. Rodriguez seems to be really pressing. Didn't seem to bounce back well at all from blowing those break points he had at 2-1. But, you know, the other part of that is it's only one break.
That's
so
right.
If it's only one break, this is the 7th game he needs to hold here. Henning's making him play.
Yeah, and Rodriguez, he's trying to change direction. The ball's coming deep. Just go back down the middle or back cross court to try to change the direction. There is that's not what the script is calling for right now.
What a point.
Rodriguez sort of dominated the point the whole time, and some great defense by Henning really made the point entertaining.
Let's see if that's the momentum swing that Ricardo Rodriguez needs to get back in this game and this match.
Well, he's in the game, right? It's 15 all. Seemed like he gave his coach a look, his captain a look after he won that last point, and kind of took some energy out of the crowd. You know, he needs to make first serves and kind of keep playing the way he was in the first 2 games. Another bad miss.
Yeah. And the second serve, that was very, when you hit in the middle box in the college game, we just called it, hey, that's just a bucket serve. It's just crying for someone to hit some down the line shots on you.
Game point for Rodriguez here. Must need, crucial game for him. Yep, there it is. There's the hole.
4-3.
He needed that one. Now, Coach, on this changeover, if you're Maurice Rua, what are you telling your player here to get back in this?
Sometimes, they say in coaching one of the hardest things is to do nothing. Sometimes it's good just to say nothing other than, hey, you want some water and so forth, because you can make people overthink the situation. So, some brilliant coaching I've seen is where they do nothing, say nothing, and it's hard because the temptation is you want to fill their mind with something a little bit.
But it certainly seems like he's saying something to him, right?
Yeah, it's more than the water. He's more than the water. Yeah, if he's not saying anything with his mouth, the hands are talking about it. Hey, good racket speed. Let's.
Craig, what do you think he's saying to him?
No, I think he's trying to give. He's trying. My sense is he was probably trying to tell him, listen, put some returns back in the box, bunt that first serve back, take full swings at the second serve, and try to make this kid play. You're playing well.
You saw Lloyd Harris do that in the first match. He blocked some returns back, neutralized it, and then started to dictate. But yeah. They call it return to serve for a reason here right now. Nice deep ball from Henning. It was a foot or so from the baseline, maybe.
Let's. First serve.
Big serve.
That's a big 30 love right there.
It's funny on the college kids, there was a lead on that first serve. When you see them go back to the college game, sometimes they forget that ball's alive, and you see them have a delayed response.
40 long.
It's a good effort to get all those first serves in now.
It's funny you mentioned transitioning back to the college game. Talk about skipping a week of class for something cool, huh?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a project, right? A lot more stuff online. Certainly a lot more stuff online. But, I mean, the college game, you're going to go back next week. He's going to be playing no ad, no ad scoring, and he'll be playing the service lets.
Well, the South African serving like he means it. Holds there to go up 5-3 first set.
It's not the first time that's happened with some really good depth and producing a half volley.
Yeah, I feel like Henning's playing really, really well. He's taking big cuts. That ball was just on the line. Rodriguez had really no opportunity to do anything with that ball.
First serve.
Rodriguez really needs to kind of dig in here and fight. That's what he needs is these first serves.
It was a good
Kind
pitch.
of get himself a manageable hold.
Henning really goes in Novak mode. I mean, he returns a lot of serves deep down the middle. He's not trying to open up the court, which is, that's a good play. Deep down the middle, deep down the middle. Even though he lost the point, first return was good.
$40-15.
Seems like Henning's trying to take some big cuts now, see if he could kind of, sort of break to win the set, but that's that.
Yeah.
Big hold there for Rodriguez.
Henning, when Henning lost the first game, he missed long. there's something to be said for players who are willing to miss long. Because if you are going to make a mistake, you can dial that back. The worst thing is to get fool's goal and hit the ball short, and you end up winning the point. I like the fact that Henning's misses have been long.
You can say a lot about his game, but he definitely goes for those big shots there. And a lot of depth, a lot of topspin, and it seems like everything he's hitting right now is just catching the back of the line.
Yeah, when you play at the highest level, you got to be willing to play in the smallest court. You got to be able to willing to play skinny, keep the ball out of the middle.
Donnie Visser, but Christo Van Rensburg, same thing. He's up. He is like really, really trying to fire up his player to serve this set out and take. Obviously it's a long uphill climb for Venezuela if they go down a set here in this match as well.
You have to imagine, though, that the winner of this match is going to decide whether we see Lloyd Harris or not tomorrow.
Right.
Well, tomorrow in doubles.
Correct, yes.
Craig would empty the bench. You'd play Lloyd in doubles, wouldn't you?
I think Lloyd would play Lloyd in doubles. I don't think he's out here to dilly-dally. I think he probably wants to get the W and not play his next singles match and fly to LA.
Yes.
Get ready for San Diego.
So the captain, hey Lloyd, how you feeling?
I think Lloyd, I think if you're out here, you want to try to just go get the W as quick as you can. Let's see what happens. That's a good point.
Good depth against.
A lot of time in New York over these past few weeks.
And that's what a good New York bagel tastes like.
Must be, he must have been here for at least a month.
Yeah.
That's a must-win point right there for Rodriguez to take. He's trying to stay in this set.
South history in Davis Cup, wouldn't you say? I mean, they've been in the world group many years.
Well, I think with Wayne Ferreira
That'll
in
help.
particular,
Yeah.
carried him on his back for a lot of years. Guys like Robbie Koenig,
Yeah.
they've had a lot of really great players, for a lot of years. They've got a great tennis tradition on both the men's and women's side.
That ball's just too short. That return from Rodriguez just too short.
40-50.
Right, but Henning's played well.
Yeah. I mean,
Henning's played well. I mean,
Henning hit something to him to
you
make him
got-
hit it short.
In order to, serve this out, he's had to play well.
Set point.
There you go.
And a fired up Phil Henning takes that first set 6-4.
Now, going along that Davis Cup, I mean, you had Craig Tiley, who was a Davis Cup captain, who's doing wonderful things in Australia. I mean, he has critics, but heck, we have critics. But has a long history of being in that, those top 16 teams. And
Rodriguez is coming off the court. Unclear what he's going to do, but he's leaving the court while Henning is not. Really, really interesting to watch. Christo Van Rensburg talk to his player. It seemed to me like he had nothing to say to Lloyd.
I'm thinking
and
the same thing.
He has
Yeah,
had a ton to say to. It seems like he's a coach that enjoys coaching.
Yeah.
And he has to work
That's right.
differently with one player than the other. And
I think he's college coaching now. I think he's in college mode right now. He was in pro mode with Lloyd. This is like NASCAR racing here with Lloyd. That was just
Well, I
Formula
don't think
One.
there was anything to say. There was just a blowout, and there was a huge difference in levels in the first
Yeah,
match.
yeah.
So maybe.
But they
You
know
also-
this is a swing match.
The
here.
other
This
thing
swing.
too is you don't want to show up the other team. You don't want to
Yes,
show up the
yes.
other player.
Good point.
There's a respect that comes with these kind of mismatches, and frankly, when there's a massive mismatch, the last thing you want is the optics to look like you're encouraging your player to
Yeah.
beat the player even worse. I mean, that was a 35-minute love match.
He couldn't have beat him any worse.
Yeah, he couldn't. I mean, he really
Maybe saved
couldn't.
those 3 points in that first game.
Now, I wonder how Henning got away from the University of Illinois. I mean, they had Anderson, their other player, Monsi, if I'm saying that correctly, Monsi. Yeah. I mean, he's at
Sipo
Illinois.
Monsi, yeah.
How'd you know? Do you practice these names? I mean, these are. Say that again.
Sipo Monsi.
It sounds like a panini. It sounds like a panini. But yeah. So, Brad Dancer at Illinois somehow didn't get them all. One of them got away. Look at that, Van Rensburg. He's still jacked up.
He wants him to
Look at him.
bury this kid next.
Yeah, he
set.
wants a
He
break.
is- yeah,
He wants a break so bad to begin with.
He just wants him to. He just wants to keep the heat on. He really feels. It's interesting. I mean, what he's doing is the histrionics. He's talking. He's got a lot to
Yeah.
say. He's got a lot of coaching to do, and
And he's
Christo
keeping his
von
player.
Rensburg.
Yeah. He's probably
is
keeping his player
taking
from
this
thinking
as
about it.
serious as it gets.
And from Rodriguez, a well-timed break sometimes can let your opponent think about this, how big of a win this could be for you.
And by the way, Christo von Rensburg got to 19 in the world in singles, and he got to 5 in the world in doubles, with 20 titles in doubles, 2 in singles. I mean, he won the Australian Open in doubles, and he won that with Paul Annacone. I mean, this guy is sort of a he's a tennis lifer.
Yeah.
He's had an incredible life in tennis, and
Yeah. They play more
these
than
guys
cricket there.
These guys are talking very seriously right now about
Now, who's Van Rensburg talking to right now?
That's Peter Fishbach, the assistant coach.
Oh,
Peter
okay.
Fishbach was once the coach of South Africa. In fact, he was Van Rensburg's coach a lot of years ago.
You could tell those guys like the smell of tennis balls. They just want to smell balls. They love tennis, don't they?
Yep. Of course, Peter played the U.S. Open right here in Forest Hills numerous occasions, right up until it left in 1977.
Did your parents bring you to the U.S. Open back then, Noah?
Mine did.
Yours did?
I was here when I was 6 years old in 1977. I was here with my dad.
Unfortunately, I was not alive.
Oh,
Second set,
here we go.
Venezuela.
Let's see if Rodriguez brings some more energy this set.
That was like a fairly tight 6-4 set, but it didn't feel that tight. It didn't seem like.
He nursed that break, didn't he?
It just didn't seem like. It seemed like once Henning got the break, it was downhill sledding. Oh, it's good running. He pushed it wide. I said earlier, Coach Manny Diaz at Georgia said that Henning really is a physical player, and I guess you kind of see a little of that there, where he's kind of got really good wheels, moves around the court quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Game from Venezuela.
Easy hold.
First game. Second set.
Yeah, I think Manny's been coaching Georgia for over 30 years. That place is legendary, especially when they host the big conference, like the NCAA championship or the Southeast Conference. I was there when they beat Tennessee to win my first time, and to see 5,000 people barking like dogs was one of the most phenomenal sporting events I've ever seen. They get a lot of support, and all these college kids, I mean, it's a great way to develop pro tennis because the resources, the creative, the coaches are very creative, and a lot of great facilities out there.
Love. 40 love.
Henning serving bombs here in this first game for him this set.
Can't tell how hard. There's no clock. I can't see how hard he's hitting his serve, but he's painting lines left and right, moving around the box quite nicely.
And both of these guys hitting these kick serves about shoulder height.
Yeah.
Easy hold.
Yeah. Normally when I was coaching some college tennis, when we didn't have the radar gun, if that ball bounced halfway up the fence, we know we just broke 110. Here the dimensions are different, and we got walls like built for gladiators. So, but for sure they're over 110 miles an hour, and there's some second serves above 90s. That's for sure.
Love 15. All. For serve.
He got away with one there.
30-15.
What do you mean?
He put in a bucket serve, and Henning was just too far in front of it. You can't. You're not going to be able to get away with that. That's going to that'll lead to a break at some point.
40-15. The scoreboard's wrong. Good hold from Rodriguez.
There we go. Yeah, you see more and more of the, I mean, not the protege, not the Rafas and the Federers and so forth, but you see more and more colleges producing pro players. And a couple of years ago, college tennis, I mean, they spent over $430 million in college tennis, and that's just operating budgets. That doesn't even include facilities. That's more than many of these federations. So, I mean, there's college teams that spend more than a federation spends on their team, and you see they're developing pro players. It's great for American tennis because you got to be very, very competitive now, and there's a reason to go to college.
I always found the recruiting interesting, where a lot of these players
Yeah.
are sending in videos from their home countries.
Yeah. And now, I mean, now it's not. There's universal tennis ratings. There's coaches that are making day trips to Russia and Israel. And in my days, I got some good players out of Israel over phone calls. There's coaches in living rooms in Israel and various other countries. And you see these college campuses hosting pro events now, $25,000 tournaments. So their players, the upper echelon, go to Illinois. You can play in 1 or 2 pro events while you're there in the fall.
On serve here in the second set.
This kid is murdering the ball.
Ooh. Looks like easy power.
I agree. I think he's playing really, really well. He seems to be like much better to me than Rodriguez.
Well, he's got a good practice partner, doesn't he?
That's an interesting question for him. You know, if being here with Lloyd for the last week and a week and a half or however long it's been has you know, helped kind of level him up. If he feels like he's playing better as a result of having, you know, a guy with such a hot hand. Same thing, you know. Rodriguez tends to overhit on big points.
Yeah.
Even that, like that's 15 all, but you know,
Can't do that. Yeah.
But overcooking balls seems to be, you know, sort of a indicator of the level.
Yeah, you're right.
And this kid doesn't, Henning doesn't really overhit.
Yeah, you mentioned that on his break point, in that first break point that Rodriguez had. You brought that up, and overhits. And then that just helps Henning because he goes, hey, if I just stay in the point a couple of times, I don't need to shoot a rocket here. Maybe I get an overhit.
He's done a really good job, too, getting first serves in.
Henning did everything right there, moving him around the court.
Yeah.
And just that drop shot was right on his racket.
It just didn't seem like the right script to hit that drop shot.
Right, he should have ripped the forehand.
We needed
should have ripped that.
Another 16 hits.
That's
Take the legs from the old guy.
Coach, would that be fair to say that's just shot tolerance, that he kind of bailed out of the point?
It.
He sort of,
yeah.
He kind of thought he maybe had a good idea, but it's really shot tolerance. He needed to just go for just hit the forehand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, see, that haunts you. See, when we're charting matches in college, that drop shot, we'd have wrote down DADS. And it's dumb, and the last two is drop shot, and A is the thing we're sitting on right now. And that's sometimes and off a forehand. I mean, you shouldn't hit a drop shot off your forehand until you're like 65. Let's see if you can. Still deuce. That's that backhand down the line, Craig. That Manny said wasn't a winner, but it had a lot of pressure on it.
That's about as clutch of an ace as you could possibly hit right there.
Very clean, smooth power.
Big hold.
You think this will be like the first set? You had some opportunities. Now it's 2-all. Does this lead to a break? Like having shots on goal in soccer.
You know, it's interesting. The scales are tipped so significantly for Venezuela to not be able to compete. You know, their federation, for all intents and purposes, is, you know, essentially decimated. They get no government support. Ever since Chavez and now Maduro have sort of ruined the country, which is a once proud country with a great tennis tradition. They really have very little. They really have very little on paper chance to compete. So, you know, for Ricardo Rodriguez to be down, you know, a set and on serve in the second, you know, he's still alive here. It's a good effort in general. Is neat, you know.
You're right. Maybe they've already won just by being here.
You know, I think you want to get a point.
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, this is kind of a winnable match, on probably at least by the levels, the UTRs, the rankings, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that the South Africans have a much more robust
Their infrastructure
program
is much better.
now.
Yeah.
I think so. From what I've learned. Oh, yeah, good shot. He's still grinding, man.
40-50.
That's the serve too. The big point, game point. He served out wide and just, you know, missed the rally forehand.
Yeah.
You know, those are the kind of things that you just don't really see when you watch top 100 guys. They just don't kind of miss that shot.
And to hit it in the net. I think Borg went like 3 years before he hit a ball in the net. I mean, you just don't do that. There you go. Becomes the Great Wall of China there.
The same thing. Rodriguez is up 40-15.
Yeah.
He nets a easy forehand, and he just did it again.
Backhand.
And now it's deuce. You know, this is a crucial moment in the match. He seems to have kind of like gotten a little nervous, lost his energy. Made him think about it a little. He doesn't seem to really be comfortable getting a lead.
No.
Good serve.
That serve would beg to differ there.
Yeah, as the returner, you just got to keep hanging in there, hanging around till you get a deuce and a second serve.
Oh. Oh, that's a
Holy
great point.
cow. Look at this. That was Mike Tyson, then a little bit of a touch.
Unreal point. That first forehand that kind of started that was a
Oh,
big Vamos Rafa cross
look at this.
court.
Boom chakalaka, poof. That's
I don't think
pretty
you
good.
can hit a tennis ball much harder than that. And the touch on that drop shot half volley right
Yeah.
there.
That was good tennis. Deuce.
Oh. Oh.
Lucky.
He almost missed that one.
But he
Just
made his
caught
luck.
the top of the net cord.
Advantage, South Africa.
Yeah, you just got to walk back there and pretend like that just didn't happen.
Wait, it's at out?
Yeah, he missed that volley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
I saw
think
it wrong.
I think it bounced off the top of the net and boom. So now Rodriguez has to be a goldfish and have a short memory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tough tennis.
Oh,
He had it on his
He
racket.
missed the volley.
he won the point. He won the point. I don't care what happened. They got
He
one point.
missed the break point volley. Took his eye off the ball.
At what point do you think he thought it was break point? Right about there? Oh. What? Rodriguez was running there, so that could have been a distraction. Made you blink.
I think Henning was just surprised that forehand came back.
Yeah. Tug of war game again.
Overcooked that backhand deep.
Advantage, South Africa.
Van Rensburg's up out of his chair, really coaching right now to get that break.
If Henning was at Georgia, there'd be thousands of people yelling, "It's break time." Oh,
Overcooked that one too, and we're back at deuce. I'd have to imagine, without ever having been to an SEC tennis match, that it compares to the football down there as well.
oh yeah. You don't get it confused with Wimbledon. That's for sure.
Pressure's on here with this second serve.
Henning really returns well right down the middle, you know what I mean? Really does.
I feel like Henning is absolutely murdering his ground strokes when he gets into these rallies, and Rodriguez isn't handling it isn't handling the pace all that well. He seems like he's just kind of surviving.
Right, yeah. That's unfortunate. I mean, there's
Leg cord winner.
but Henning's he's like a really good putter in golf. He just never leaves it short. When he misses long. And as a result of that, if you just spot plot everything here, his ball is deeper collectively than Rodriguez. You know, good putters don't miss short, and good tennis players don't miss short. They
All
miss
the
long.
South Africans are up having like a pretty good. They're
Look at 'em.
smiling. They're kind of relaxed. Venezuelans seem a little bit down.
Yeah.
There's a change of balls happening. It looks to me like right now.
Well, look at South Africa. I mean, I just see that green colors all around the place. You know, I mean, of course, Venezuela's wearing white, but
Time.
as a Davis Cup team, when you've won the first 3 sets and you're up a break and you got all this green stuff around, and Van Rensburg, he's jacked. Look at Henning. He's running out like a prize fighter.
I think Van Rensburg just said to his player, 3 games, man.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
What is it, 12 points?
Yeah.
You have to like his chances if he holds here.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be a quick hold, or is this going to be a tug of war? Too short.
If you're Phil Henning, that's the way you want to start this game.
Didn't need to change direction there.
All.
Oh. Wasn't quite a miss hit, Craig, but it was kind of the let her fly.
Yeah, he's kind of overcooking the forehand. Just a little less sharp. Well played point from Rodriguez.
30 all.
Now, Craig, that overcooking thing, is that a South American thing? Because I've heard South Americans say that in an expression before describing tennis. Sometimes you cook it, and you overcook it, undercook it.
I don't know.
Nice catch from the ball boy
It's
there.
kind of interesting to see these guys calling their lines a little
I,
bit.
I was thinking
You know,
it looks like
doesn't happen with the radars
no,
anymore.
no, it looks like you and me out there. Nope, out.
Wow.
Here we go.
Yeah, spoke too soon. Break point.
Break point.
30,
No.
40.
Yeah, Henning played a really loose game. Let's see what happens here.
But Henning looks good after he misses. You know, you can't really tell by his facial expression that he just missed.
Big first serve. Looks to his team. Takes a big, deep breath.
Deuce.
Goes right back to it. He doesn't take a lot of time in between points. It almost seems like Rodriguez is having a little bit of a tough time playing to his pace.
Right.
He's playing really fast. Big shot. Big, big, big down the line backhand from Rodriguez.
Venezuela.
That was a great shot. Boom. Awesome. You can't really do it much better.
No, that was clean.
Big second serve here for Phil Henning. And he gives it up.
He's human. He's human.
3 games on.
He's human there.
You see him there gesturing with the racket.
Yeah, it is. And I need a little bit more pronation on that thing. That's
Thanks.
So at 3-all here in this second set, Coach, where do you go from here if you're Phil Henning?
Phil Henning. He's just got to keep doing what he's been doing. Hey, return down the middle of the court, get the point started, and then begin to maneuver. I mean that's what he's been doing. He just got a little loose in that game, a little careless, but he doesn't need to change it. He's getting the breaks or serves he needs to win this match.
Let's see if he can come back from that last one.
There he goes. Yeah, his just keep returning, and Rodriguez has got to get that ball out of the net there. Just eliminate some of these unforced errors in the net.
It's almost like he's hung over from that last game. Big break of serve, then comes back and nets the easy forehand. Bit of a late call there.
Yeah.
Love 30.
Rodriguez didn't take a second look, so he must have agreed with it. Two unforced errors lead to love 30 here.
You can see that South African team just pushing their player on.
Yes. You see that return? That was Lloyd Harris, right? That nice little chip block to get it started.
Henning just moves his feet so well. Coming around that ball, ripping the inside in forehand.
And so the South African follows up a break with a break of his own.
Oh, that was a quick break, too. Quick break.
That was about as a commanding tennis game that we've seen from Phil Henning this match.
Yeah, I mean, he took advantage. Once he got the 2 unforced errors, he played it like a Broadway play. He played the script. Looks like the clouds have opened up a little bit more here, Noah. It's a beautiful day, and I still can't get over this view. This
It
view
is
with
certainly sensational.
this U-shaped stadium with a sort of a, you know, it has that gladiator feel with the stone, the bricks and everything, and when you walk underneath the stadium to see all the history of the matches, the Davis Cup matches, the U.S. Open champions, even a list of all the people who've performed in concert here in the last several years.
Yes, this is certainly hallowed ground.
Yeah, and it's just a neat little village atmosphere around here. This is we got to have more top-rated tennis events here.
Phil Henning to serve, up 4-3, second set.
Wow, Rodriguez transitioned nicely through that short ball.
Yeah, this is falling into like a little bit of a rhythm of the returner playing better than the server.
Yeah, yeah.
It happens from time to time.
Neither guy wants to handle the pressure.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that both guys want to handle the pressure, but you know, sometimes the tennis is funny, right? Like sometimes you can just all of a sudden the returner just starts, you know, winning game after game, and it becomes easier to break. But you know, usually that stops with a good few first serves. So let's see what happens here.
It's also interesting to note Phil Henning and on the game prior, Ricardo Rodriguez serving with the sun in their eyes. The sun is right now right over the stadium, shining back towards the club.
Phil Henning really I was just about to say that he's really starting to open up on his ground strokes, and he just completely
What do you guys think? I think he's starting to think about the finish line.
completely shanked
The finish line.
that slice backhand.
How could you not at this point?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
Serving
think he started playing badly. I just think he just took his foot off the gas a little bit. Sometimes when you have a lead, you play a little safer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's suiting him. It's good playing. Double break.
Fights it back. Double break point.
Well, he missed long, huh? Wasn't in the net.
That's a
Overall,
terrible miss.
Yeah.
A really poorly played game. Back-to-back opportunities to hold and consolidate breaks, and he just did not get it done.
And the only thing that makes you feel good about it is the guy on the other side hasn't held either. So,
Well, we'll see now. Ricardo Rodriguez serving, facing away from the sun. Does get to be a factor in these matches here.
15 up.
Oh,
Interesting. Both guys missing backhands wide. It feels to me like they're both like super nervous.
yeah, they're slightly confused. Not sure what plays of theirs to run.
Emphatic overhead there from Henning.
15-30.
Now, guys, I think it's time to ask the question, do we see another break here?
Let's see. Technically, probably 15-30 here is still favors the server, right?
Is that right?
I just made that up. It sounds good. Sounds good. 15. I mean,
I've never heard that before.
15-30 still favors the server, right?
Ooh, that was like floaty return.
No, 15-40. I'm going to take the returner.
15.
It's like a really floaty return that just kind of kissed the line. And
This would be 3 or 4 straight
Ricardo
breaks.
Rodriguez is feet are in cement. He's not moving. He's kind of seems like he's sort of wishing for it a little bit, and that just isn't going to get it done. Yeah,
On break.
There it is, another
that's-
break.
We're on break. We're on break.
That's very tense tennis from the Venezuelan. He just tightened up like a drum, didn't move his feet whatsoever, and now he's got a break to stay in this.
So what do y'all think? You think Henning's going to go like in curious mode, a couple of underhanded quick serves? That's really not the South African way, is it?
I don't think it's anybody's way.
Way.
I think when Nick serves underhanded,
Uh-huh.
it's tragic. I think that the only time it makes any sense to me at all is when he's playing some of these guys that stand 25 feet back on the. But even then, I always think that just like a short serve out wide is the move.
Yeah. It still doesn't seem cool.
Short serve out wide, because none of these guys are able to hit like a cool underhanded serve that like bounces real short. But
Now-
you can see now Maurice Rua has turned his chair completely around.
Look at that.
He's looking directly into his player's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And is really trying to give him a talk, it seems, to try to calm him down, get his nerves together.
It's almost like a psychiatrist and a patient right there.
He flipped his chair all the way around. I hadn't seen that until just then.
Yeah, the cap said, we're going to have eye contact right now. We're going to have some serious eye contact.
Nevertheless, it's Henning serving for the match.
That's a great way to start.
Yeah.
Big first serve to the backhand.
He's
And
got to go.
And you know, it's interesting. He didn't punt the back. He didn't punch it. He didn't just bunt it. He tried to take a full crack.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like that makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good playing. It's good tennis.
Yeah, it's funny, serving for a match is a little bit different than serving in the first game. Serving in the first game of a set.
Phil Henning 2 points from the match and giving South Africa a decisive 2-0 lead in this tie.
Boom.
make that?
30-15.
Wow, okay.
Oh, wow.
That was close.
Umpire either reinforced or changed the call.
Man,
It's
that
a
was
late
close.
call and a late overrule.
Unsure if it was an overrule, right? We can't see
No.
from here if it was or not.
But Henning didn't say anything. He
Well,
knew.
he called correction. Ball was good.
He said correction?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a long day, Craig.
I just couldn't hear that.
And Rodriguez fights it back to 30 all.
30 all.
Oh, my.
Henning actually looks a little gassed to me. He is
He
breathing
does.
out of his mouth. Seems like he's burned a lot of energy. That looked like a tired serve. Let's
Mhm.
see. Short second serve.
Oh, you just.
Wow, and Rodriguez just dumped that forehand into the middle of the net.
40.
I mean, I sound redundant, like I love cross-court shots, but there's no reason to go down. I mean, it's 30 all. Stay close.
Match point.
Henning to serve for a decisive 2-0 lead for South Africa.
There you go. Look
And he
at
does
the
it.
South African bench.
Philip Henning pulls out the win, 6-4, 6-4.
That was a great effort from the South African team today. They obviously easily could have taken their foot off the gas, and instead he cranked it up. Kid's got $1 million smile.
Look at him. He's jacked up
Yeah,
here.
they're
Ray.
pumped up. These guys are really excited. You really kind of get the feel for the seriousness of the event.
So is that some of that Lloyd Harris momentum building on the younger players?
The coaching, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Coaches shaking hands or pounding fists, rather, exchanging some nice words. And Lloyd Harris and the South African team they're happy. They're feeling good. So
It's kind of trickle-down confidence. I mean, there's talent there. Don't get me wrong. There's talents, but you can see it here in their discipline, their shot making, and I mean, Henning's pretty jacked up. I was talking to Raven a little bit later. I was asking him, hey, is he going to outlast Tom Brady? I mean, he's 39, still playing pro tennis. Seems to be a trend in tennis to why not keep playing?
yeah, I think that as long as these guys are fit and are competing, then
Yeah.
you may as well go make that money.
Right. I mean,
Better than the alternative.
Yeah, that's right.
Better than feeding balls.
Better than feeding balls. It's a good paycheck. All right, let's take it to Noah on the court for the interview with Henning.
Nice.
It's nice. It's a nice one. Thank you.
Win.
Straight set 6-4 match. It did not feel that way.
No, it was tough out there. I mean, the conditions, it's hot out here. The guy's a good player. He's a grinder. We had really good points, but yeah, I'm lucky I could get through in the end.
You guys were
Trading breaks there in that second set.
and then right when it counted, that last game, you served it out. What adjustments did you make on your serve to pull out the win?
I broke him 3 times, obviously, but he broke me back right after, and I feel like I lost my rhythm on my serve a bit. And in the last game on 5-4, I focused on my toss and just my swing in general, getting my rhythm back. Yeah.
It certainly worked out. This is the first Davis Cup played here since 1959. You're part of history.
That's pretty cool, man. That's really cool.
I was just going to say, how does it feel and how has been the hospitality of Forest Hills and the West Side Tennis Club?
I mean, it's a great honor. This has been great. It's been a great week. New York is a cool place. It's a cool city. It's alive. Life's back after the COVID and everything happened. But yeah, being here at this club with this historic event, it's an honor.
Well, congratulations, Philip. Your win puts your team up and deciding 2-0. Congratulations and best of luck to you and the team going forward.
Appreciate it, man.